Welcome to Star 212, Study Section 1, Organization of Statistical Systems. Introduction. Statistics, the science of counting, is as old as the world itself. Its importance has been increasing with the age and advancement in the world. In earlier years, governments used statistics to keep records on population, births, deaths, marriages, etc. for administrative purposes. In this study session, you will be introduced to Organization Statistical System, Learning Outcomes for Study Section 1. At the end of this study session, you should be able to describe a national statistical system, differentiate different types of statistical systems, and learn about the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) and the National Population Commission (NPC). Discuss problems of the Nigerian statistical system and provide solutions. Explain the role of data producers. List the problems of the Nigerian statistical system. Statistical systems. Yule and Kendall define statistics as quantitative data affected to a marked extent by multiplicity of causes. Statistical data are used as tools to shape society. The availability of adequate statistical data in a usable form is central to designing well-articulated policies and are critical for efficient decision-making in government, international bodies, private setup, and personal research. It is thus imperative for government to initiate a well-developed statistical organization saddled with the responsibility of producing needed statistical data. Social statistics is the numerical statement about social life. Social statistics is the use of statistical measurement and methodologies to study human behavior in a social environment with the aim of enhancing better governance and social well-being. One of the banes of development in Africa is the absence of strong national statistical system because statistical information is central to development. Also, it has been observed that rich nations are good producers and users of statistical information for development programming, while emerging and poor nations have weak and ineffective national statistical system. This is partly responsible for the poor management of the economy. A national statistical system can be described as a coordinated system of all legally supported agencies involved in developing and producing statistical information necessary to facilitate the fulfillment of a nation's objectives and goals. It covers all official statistical activities in a country and includes organizations such as central statistical offices, such as the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) in the Nigerian case, specialized statistical offices in the political subdivision of the country, as well as official statistical committees or boards. Data may come from different sources or different providers within the national statistical system. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) was until recently called the Federal Office of Statistics (FOS). The Nigerian National Statistics Office started in 1978 with the establishment of a statistical unit in the Office of the Colonial Secretary in the Cabinet Secretariat of the British Colonial Administration. The unit was concerned with the collection and publication of statistics on trade. In 1947, a statistics unit was established in the Department of Customs and Excise. In 1949, the unit, which had become a department, had its responsibilities expanded to form the nucleus of a centralized national statistical office for the country. When the federal system of government was adopted in 1958, the central and the regional governments had their statistics establishments incorporated with a decentralized national statistical system. Types of national statistical system. There are two broad types, namely centralized and decentralized. A centralized national statistical system is one where the whole process of data production and dissemination to the governments and other users of statistics is carried out by an organ of the government. The central agency is in charge of the entire survey infrastructure with responsibility for some integrating functions. It also controls all the statistical activities of the nation. The decentralized system gives other agencies legal authority and control over their resources for collecting needed data. It employs a division of responsibility between the various data collection agencies at different tiers of government, and the different agencies are free to collect data to satisfy their respective needs. Decentralized system. This system employs a division of responsibilities between the state, local, and federal government. These responsibilities, however, have to be coordinated centrally. The Nigerian statistical system embraces the decentralized system with the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) as the lead agency for coordination and production of statistics. Variants of decentralization system include 1. Decentralized by areas of specialization. This consists of various national statistical offices, each specializing in a subject field with minimum control and coordination, possibly through a committee. 2. Decentralized by subject: housing, agriculture, health, education, etc., with a coordinating body. Centralized system. In this system, a bulk of statistical services is reposed in one body, having offices and officers in all departments of the national government. This body is therefore responsible for coordinating the statistical activities of the nation. A centralized system can be 1. Centralized with a major operating office for general statistics and specialized offices under a coordinating authority, or 2. Fully centralized, consisting of one central statistical office responsible for all statistical data. All data are sent by various organizations to this body for collation and publication. Advantages and disadvantages of centralized and decentralized statistical system. Centralized. Take 2. Centralized. Advantages: ability to plan and coordinate across whole statistical system, ability to set long-term priorities and divert funding to them. Organizational focus on statistical issues emphasizes integrity and impartiality and common work ethos. Decentralized. Policy relevance, strong statistical linkage to administrative management and information systems. Disadvantages: centralized, divorced from main government users, perceived lack of responsiveness. Decentralized, difficult to coordinate and plan system-wide, sectorial interest take precedence over common good, open to political pressure, perceived, if not actually difficult, to set common standards. Nigerian National Statistical System. In 1988, the Nigerian government promulgated Decree 43, which decentralized the Nigerian statistical structure by the establishment of Department of Planning, Research and Statistics (DPRS) in each ministry, and parastatal, with the National Bureau of Statistics as the lead agency for coordination and production of statistics. The system in its current decentralized form was established by the Statistics Act of 2007. Elements of Nigerian National Statistical System. A National Statistical System (NSS) comprises four main components, namely data producers, data users, data suppliers, and research and training institutions. The producers of statistics include the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) as the coordinating agency of the system, federal ministries, public agencies, state statistical agencies, and local government statistics units. On the other hand, data users include key users such as policy and decision makers, while data suppliers are made up of establishments and households. For research and training institutions, we have higher education institutions and various research institutes. Characteristics of an effective National Statistical System. Institutional framework, legal enforcement powers that also offer protection of core values, legitimacy and credibility, confidentiality, privacy, non-political objectivity. Functions of the National Statistical System. The central function of the National Statistical System is to collect, compile, and publish an integrated set of statistical data relating to economic, social, structural activities of the country. These involve Take 2 of the country. These involve 1. Determination of what statistical data is required and how best to produce them. This necessitates a periodic review of the statistical data produced. 2. Development of integrated statistical data. This calls for coordination of different statistical agencies by recommending common definitions, classifications, and techniques, proper coverage, and comparable time reference. In Nigeria, there are over 1,600 statistical outfits, which, if not well coordinated, will lead to circulation of conflicting and non-consistent statistics. 3. Develop and issue statistical standards adapted to the needs of the country. 4. Research into statistical operation and techniques. 5. Coordinate statistical activities of different national offices. 6. Train statistical personnel. 7. Maintain quality, integrity, independence, and objectivity of statistics. 8. Participate in international statistical activities. Objectives of Nigerian National Statistical System: to raise public awareness about the importance and role of statistical information to the society, to collect, process, analysis, and disseminate quality statistical data, to promote the use of best practice and international standards in statistical production, management, and dissemination, to promote the use of statistical data and information at individual, institutional, local, government area, national and international levels, especially for evidence-based policy design and decision-making, to build sustainable capacity for the production and use of statistical data and information in the country for planning purposes. Statistical offices. The fundamental objective of national statistical offices is to provide relevant, accurate, timely, coherent, and complete statistical data. Such data will be a clear and precise panorama of a country, which will be required and essential for rational planning and decision-making process. Moreover, a statistical office has the role of pioneering and coordinating all statistical systems in order to ensure standards in production of statistical as well as prevent information population in the country. Different types of statistical offices are listed below. 1. Large-scale field organization like those for census and sample surveys, for example, the National Population Commission. 2. Large-scale data processing organizations. 3. Agencies concerned with statistical data arising as byproducts of administration. 4. Specialized statistical organizations like statistical officers in Ministry of Agriculture, Health, or Education, etc. 5. Central Coordinating Office. 6. Central Statistical Offices with operating responsibilities. 7. Differentiate between the operations of the National Population Commission and the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. Data producers. Nigeria employs the decentralization system in its data production. This is partly in line with its federal status and common practices in many countries of the world. All the three tiers of government, namely federal, state, and local government, are involved in data production. Data production involves collection, compilation, analysis, and publication of data. Data producers ensure availability of high quality and accessible statistical data and information covering all possible areas of economic and social subject matter. Such data and information must be of high quality. A high-quality data is characterized by relevance, comprehensiveness, accuracy, consistency, timeliness, space, disaggregated by main domains, e.g., gender, vulnerable groups, etc., and accessibility. The merger of FOS and NDB led to the establishment of the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). The Statistics Act of 2007 outlined NBS key functions. Functions of National Bureau of Statistics: A. To coordinate the national statistical system. B. To advise the federal, state, and local government on all matters related to statistical and development. C. To develop and promote use of statistical standards and appropriate methodologies in the system. D. To collect, compile, analyze, interpret, publish, and disseminate statistical information alone or in collaboration with other agencies, both governmental, non-governmental agencies. E. To develop and maintain a comprehensive national data bank by encouraging units of line ministries and agencies develop their sectorial data bank and forward to the Bureau. F. To provide a focal point of contact with international agencies on statistical matters. G. To carry out all other functions relating to statistics as the federal government only assigned to the Bureau. Two. The Board of the NBS. The governing board of the Bureau comprises of 15 members, 6 political members from each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, appointed by the President and approved and confirmed by the Senate. 9 institutional members. The members are the Minister of National Planning Commission or its representative, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria or its representative, the Minister of Finance or its representative, the Minister of Agriculture or its representative, the Minister of Education or its representative, the Group Managing Director NNPC or its representative, the President Manufacturer Association of Nigeria or its representative, the President of Nigerian Statistical Association, Statistician General and Chief Executive of the NCO as the Secretary. The Chairman of the Board is appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Minister of National Planning Commission. National Population Commission of Nigeria. The National Population Commission of Nigeria, formerly National Population Commission, was first established as the National Census Board in 1972. The legal institutions creating it, Decree number 23 of 1989, charged the Commission with the following responsibilities. A. To undertake the enumeration of the population of Nigeria periodically through censuses and sample surveys. B. To establish and maintain a machinery for continuous and universal registration of births and deaths throughout the country. C. To prepare and maintain a national framework for the delineation exercise for censuses and sample surveys. D. To collect and publish data on migration statistics. E. To conduct researches, monitor the national population policy, and set up a national population information data bank. F. To provide information and data on population for purpose of facilitation of national planning and economic development. G. To advise the federal government on any population and related matters and problems. H. To disseminate information and educate the general public about the activities of the Commission. I. To arrange for the appointment and training of enumerators and all other categories of staff of the Commission. 4. Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria publishes banking, financial, agricultural, and foreign trade statistics through its A. Annual report and statement of account. B. Economic and financial review. C. Monthly report. D. Nigerian principal economic and financial indicators. E. Statistical bulletins, etc. Data users and their roles. Data users demand and utilize statistical products and services. They are the most important component of the national statistical system. Statistical data and information are produced because users are there to demand and use them. They are the sustainers of the system, as their need is the raison d'etre of the statistical system. Hence, the national statistical system will be sustained to the extent that it is user-focused and demand-driven. Data users are diverse and large. They include policy and decision makers in government ministries and institutions and quasi-governmental bodies, politicians, e.g., members of Senate and House of Assemblies, authorities in states and local governments, researchers and academicians, NGOs, private sector organizations, the donor community, international organizations, and development partners, the media, the general public. Purpose and uses of statistical data. 1. Government. Governments and their ministries are the major users of statistical data and information in any country. They use them for planning, administration, monitoring, governance, accountability. In particular, they use the statistical data and information to assess policy and program options aimed at improving the well-being of the population, e.g., building roads, providing clean water, building schools, providing relief in case of disaster, etc. Monitor implementation of development activities and to measure their impact. Make governance and administration, such as deciding on grants to give to different administrative units, demarcating constituencies for electoral purposes, etc. effective. Identify vulnerable groups in society, e.g. the poor, aged, children, and socially disadvantaged, for whom it designs special programs, usually multisectorial in nature, e.g. needs. Demonstrate progress against development targets and also to plan and monitor the implementation and sources of policies developed to achieve the targets. 2. Private sector. Business enterprises and other economic agents use data to assess opportunities, risks, and prospects of a venture. They also use data to plan, make decisions, monitor, evaluate, and report on business activities. 3. Non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and community-based organizations, CBOs. These need population statistics with respect to their target groups to accomplish their purposes and plan, implement, monitor, and evaluate their activities and to report back to their headquarters. 4. International organizations and development partners. These use statistics to assess requirements for assistance and/or participation in development initiatives and to evaluate the effectiveness of the assistance given, e.g. on reduction of poverty, elimination of polio, etc. 5. The media and the general public. The media and the general public also use statistics for various purposes, including analyzing events, making decisions, assessment of government and government projects, etc. Data suppliers and their roles. Data suppliers mainly include households, individuals, and groups within specified organizations, establishments. Their role is to cooperate with data collecting agencies in supplying accurate data and information when requested and in the form they are required. Research and training institutions and their roles. Data producers often do not have enough resources to fully analyze the data collected. Hence, researchers, academicians, policy analysts, and specialists are expected to bring their knowledge and expertise to bear on the process of data analysis in order to add value to data and to do definitive and especially policy-related analysis. This enables them to turn data into usable information. Some of the research institutions are Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, NISA, Center for Econometric and Allied Research, CEAR, Federal Institute for Industrial Research, Oshodi, FIIRO, Department of Statistics in universities and polytechnics. Also, training institutions use live data from the system for teaching and illustration purposes. They are expected to play the important role of developing and promoting appropriate data. Collection methodologies. Those involved include the Federal Schools of Statistics and Department of Statistics at Nigerian universities. Problems of the Nigerian statistical system. Every system has its teething problems. However, some of them often go beyond the teething stage and hinder full realization of the goals and objectives of the system. In the case of the Nigerian statistical system, The identified problems are 1. Political factors. In the recent past, before the advent of democracy in 1999, incessant military interventions brought about unfavorable political climate in the country and thus adversely affected data collection, data integrity, as well as true reporting. Moreover, there was no systematic planning, hence the use of data for policies formulation was relegated to the background. At the advent of democratic governance, some other problems began to emerge as politicians were fond of manipulating figures to favor their political ambitions rather than national interest. 2. Inadequate infrastructure. Infrastructures such as communication equipment, transportation facilities, and accommodation for the staff were far below the minimum requirement for optimal performance. 3. Lack of dedication. The military culture brought in corruption and waned dedication to duty. This rubbed on every facet of the country, including enumerators, also suspicion by respondents and lack of effective legal framework for enforcement of respondent up. 2. Respondent corporations stalled effective statistical activities. 4. Inadequate funds. Inadequate funding and facilities as a result of global national economic recession, competing government priorities of other sectors, etc., hampered the activities of the national statistical offices. Thus, the office could not adequately conduct relevant surveys and censuses to generate statistical information for policymakers, researchers, etc. Moreover, there is little or nothing of public enlightenment on the need and uses of statistical services. 5. Government interest and manipulations. Government do make attempts at reducing the impact of unfavorable data by inducing the statistical office to change the format of statistics table or to hold back publications of some items or convey false interpretation of some figure. 6. International pressure. The requirement from the international bodies like the IBRD, World Bank, IMF, UNO, etc. encourage manipulations of statistics in order to present a good picture about the country to the international bodies. 7. Administrative data. Birth and death registration, access to data, methodological and practical challenges in handling large data counting, imperfect data, privacy issues, e.g., the age, women in powder, etc. 8. Neglect and non-recognition from government. 9. Staffing. Rather than complain of understaffing, the real issues is overstaffing with non-professionals and poor staff. For example, as at 2006, only 15% of the workforce in the FOS were professionals and sub-professionals. Improving the Nigerian statistical system. 1. The user of statistics should be able to carry out the analysis of supplied data so as to bring out the understanding and quality of the data. 2. Suppliers of data should provide correct information about the statistical survey. 3. Provision of modern technological equipment to facilitate communication and transportation. 4. The role of multiple statistical agencies must be clearly defined such that duplication of work is avoided and proper coordination ensured. Summary of Study Section 1. 1. A national statistical system can be described as a coordinated system of all legally supported agencies involved in developing and producing statistical information necessary to facilitate the fulfillment of a nation's objectives and goals. 2. Data may come from different sources or different providers within the national statistical system. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) was, until recently, called the Federal Office of Statistics. 3. The Nigerian National Statistics Office started in 1978 with the establishment of a statistical unit in the office of the Colonial Secretary in the Cabinet Secretariat of the British Colonial Administration. 4. There are two broad types of national statistical system, namely centralized and decentralized. 5. A national statistical system (NSS) comprises four main components, namely data producers, data users, data suppliers, and research and training institutions. 6. Nigerian Statistical Organization and the functions. 7. Different statistical systems and the Nigerian experience. 8. Statistical agencies, NPC, NBS, their development and functions. 9. Problems and suggested solutions. This is the end of study section 1. Thanks for listening.